are you looking at, nerd? Huh?
Check. You want to check that?
Chickadee check.
The Chinese chicken.
That drumstick and...
Your brain starts ticking.
Yeah.
Watch X-Files with no lights on.
When Donna May's on.
Don LeMay's.
Yeah.
I hope the Smoky Man's in this one. Indeed.
Hope that. Indeed. Yes.
That we should figure out everything from that song, from Chickadee Check the Chinese Chicken, like on, and have us all go in like a round, and that'll be our sound check every time.
We should. Yeah. That would work, I think, nicely.
I feel like JJ probably knows a bunch of lines of that song. He seems like that type.
Yeah, the type who he would never admit it, but yes, he probably is into that. The bare naked ladies.
I'm the type that's going to admit that I do know a couple lines from that song. I guess I just said the ones that I know.
I'm going to go so far as to admit that as a child, I knew all the lines for that song.
Shut up. Really?
I think so.
That's amazing.
Also,
I'm not even judging you. I'm just impressed.
Similar song.
Uh-huh.
And actually not at all similar, but I used to know the Discovery Channel song.
Well, can you sing either of them?
Oh shit. No, not on this. Like I need a tune in the background.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the Bloodhound Gang?
No. Bloodhound Gang sang the theme song for the Discovery Channel?
No, but the chorus is like, we'll do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
Oh,
we'll basically fuck like animals.
Right. What the hell was that song called?
Bad Touch.
The Bad
Touch.
You knew
yes.
words to the Bad Touch?
I'm pretty sure I knew all the words to the Bad Touch.
I'm not saying that in a
to this
judgmental
day,
way.
if I hear it, I could probably like that.
So if we ever do karaoke and we get to pick each other's songs, I should pick the Bad Touch.
Absolutely.
And you would kill.
I would. I'm basically like the Jason Bourne of the Bad Touch. Like I don't know that I know it, and then I hear it, and I'm there. I'm in
my
it.
God, you're like the sleeper cell.
I am.
For the
I'm like
Bad
a sleeper
Touch.
cell, and now we're both on a list because we use the word sleeper cell on the internet.
Through microphones that are being transmitted to the NSA.
Probably.
Now we can't fly anywhere.
Shit.
Son of a bitch.
That ruins everything.
Only some things.
Yeah, I guess.
Just the traveling portion of this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, we're already talking about that ridiculous cross-country road trip, so I don't even remember what we're going to do. We're going to Vegas for some reason.
Yeah.
Mainly, I think, just because Aaron said no, we decided yes.
I mean, it's a fair reason.
Are we picking up the stones in the background?
Yeah, we're going to have to turn that off. That's how we get a lawsuit right there.
I'll just go.
Go ahead.
And we're back.
All right. Everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Dorkside Podcast.
I was about to do an intro myself, and I would have said dark.
Go, you do. Okay,
no, I was gonna do dark. Never mind.
Because it's like force of habit. Like
force of habit.
You just go into it.
Been doing this too many, too old for this shit.
You're gonna Danny Glover this shit.
I'm the Roger Murtaugh of the Darkside Podcast.
Wait, was Roger was Danny Glover, or was that
Riggs was
Riggs?
Yeah,
oh.
Murtaugh and Riggs.
Totally right. Totally Riggs. Well
Back
done.
when, like, Mel Gibson was kind of cool in movies.
Yeah, or at least hunky.
Yeah, he pulled off that hair.
Dude.
I don't think many people could have, but he did it.
You know what it takes? A sexy Australian closet racist.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
but I mean, it was the 80s. A lot of people were doing a lot of crazy things.
Yep. Like, I mean, he was doing some roundhouse kicks in those movies. I'm pretty sure that was clearly a stunt double.
Dude, fucking even Patrick Swayze, who I would not lump in with the macho actors of the time.
Roadhouse?
Fucking Roadhouse, man.
Was a killer movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking 80s, Sam Elliott, the co-star. Awesome.
Exactly.
Sam Elliott, who I'm pretty sure never ages. He was born, like, 55 with a
mustache?
salt and pepper mustache, and he will die 55 with that same mustache.
And I feel like Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse had the same hair that Mel Gibson had in... I'm going to say all the Lethal Weapons. I don't think he changed his hair for any of the Lethal Weapon movies.
Fourth one, maybe he cut it.
I feel like he had
because that was the one that was made like 15 years later. With
the quasi-mullet. Oh, Chris Rock's, right. Not Joe Pesci. That was 3.
That was 3, yeah. What the hell was his name? Something Getz. Leo Getz.
Wow.
And whatever you need, Leo Getz. That was his thing.
Well done.
He was the little, the go-to guy. Had his feelers in with the criminal underworld. He could get things.
Whatever you need, I'll get. That's my Joe Pesci.
That was horrible.
Hey, whatever you need, I'll get it.
That's a little better.
I can't really.
2 youths.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Am I a clown? I'm a clown to you. Am I a clown to you?
That's good.
That's my Joe Pesci impersonation. This is why we don't do impressions on the show at all.
We shouldn't. No, that was rough.
Yeah, it's awful. That's okay. So, this is our second episode of our podcast. This podcast is dedicated to all things nerdy, the things that get cut very often from the regular Darkside podcast.
When we get accused of rambling and tangents, yeah.
But you know what the thing is JJ loves to be on this podcast. He's going to be sad that we recorded this.
He probably will be, but you know what? Like, I mean, I think he had input into Star Wars because I made him. We went to see it. I don't know. I mean, he probably saw Lethal Weapon, right?
I feel like that's a safe one to say.
He's not a film man. Like
I feel like even if you're not
got
a film
his wheelhouse and his artsy films, like Lost in Translation.
But when you're a kid, you see all kinds of movies because your parents put things on TV.
Shit. Yeah,
exactly. So like, I feel like before I even knew what Lethal Weapon was, I saw Lethal Weapon on like a 2 in the afternoon, Channel 11.
Lethal Weapon was one of those like rare movies in my childhood. Like the first R-rated movies I was allowed to see were like action movies because they were just stupid and over the top, and maybe it's an F-bomb, you know. And so it was like Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, and like The Terminator. Were like some of the earliest action movies I remember seeing because mom was like, fine, fuck it, it's robots and, you know, John McClane.
And what format did you see them on?
Oh, VHS.
Because I remember my uncle Bob, who was my cool uncle, I shouldn't say that like it disrespects all my other uncles, like they're uncool, but he was, he was
thing right now.
He was that uncle. You know, he played guitar, was in a band. He was that uncle. And he's awesome. He's probably never going to listen to this, but that's fine. Uncle Bob, you rule. But he gave me, I want to say I had to be like 13. We should probably like look up when the movie came out, but he gave me RoboCop 2 on VHS, and I was way too fucking young to see that movie. Holy shit, did that movie scar me.
I don't even remember the second one.
That's the one with Kane, the drug dealer, and they put him in the other suit, and they're giving out,
yes.
I think it's like Nuke is the drug that they like inject.
Yeah.
And the little kid's the drug dealer who wears the suit, and he was so cool.
I remember that. I mean, the first one is forever embedded in my mind with the toxic waste guy who got hit by the van.
Dude,
I love that scene.
That's so funny you say that. I now remember. God, we have to look at what year that came out so we can figure out exactly how old I was. But I remember begging my mom to let me rent that because this kid from my class, David Curtis, specifically, I remember his fucking name. Now it's going to get back to him on this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
But he. Obviously, my memory of between the ages of 0 and 12 are, let's say, a little
fuzzy at best,
murky. Yeah. Okay. But there was this thing where he was like, "You got to watch RoboCop. You got to watch RoboCop, man. It's so sweet. It's such a cool movie." And odds are, looking back, he probably never even fucking watched it. He was just like being a little shitty kid, poking the bear.
Yeah.
And then I watched
what it was?
it.
He probably walked into the room when like his father and Big Brother were watching it, and was like, "Oh shit, I kind of saw RoboCop," until they kicked him out.
Exactly. And he's like, "JB, you never saw RoboCop? Oh man, you gotta totally rent that. It's the coolest."
I remember being really little and randomly walking in on like Terminator. Like my cousins and my uncle were watching it. And I'm pretty sure I had nightmares for a week of like a skeletal robot crawling across the floor of a factory.
Yeah. Terrifying scene. So RoboCop 1 is the one you're thinking of.
RoboCop 1 is the one that sticks out in my memory. Like 2 and 3, they kind of blur. But 1, it's the first one.
Indeed. Well, it was, for me, it was that guy who got the acid spilled on him in RoboCop 1. That fucking scarred me for life.
Yeah.
For sure.
Are there movies you remember like distinctly being that you thought were fucking awesome as a kid and they sucked?
I'm sure. I'm
pretty sure every movie I saw when I was a kid, I thought was awesome.
Movies I watched recently that were out when I was a kid, I watched Flight of the Navigator recently. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah.
The little kid, and he goes to NASA, and they go in the ship. It's voiced by Pee Wee Herman.
Yep.
I watched that recently. Still kind of holds up.
Remember The Last Starfighter? You ever see that one?
I remember seeing it.
Like
I don't
this kid
really
learns
remember
how to basically fly a starfighter from a video game.
Yeah, and then they list him.
There's this weird red alien who comes down and is like, "Hey, you're really good at this game. You should do this."
He had kind of like a melty face.
Yeah, he was like reptilian almost.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that on like the Disney Channel all the time.
Ooh.
The Rocketeer.
Never saw The Rocketeer.
I don't remember much about it, but I remember seeing it, and it looked cool. I mean, jetpacks. It was basically if you took Boba Fett and made him a hero, he'd be the Rocketeer.
Oh, was that a Billy Zane movie? Who was the Rocketeer in that?
I don't remember who the Rocketeer was. Billy Zane was in The Phantom.
Yes, he was. Billy Zane is fucking awesome.
He just kind of pops up randomly.
Exactly.
It's Billy Zane.
He's
got that voice.
He's got that voice and like a very intense face. Mm-hmm. And he always, you know what he has? He has kind of like he has like resting bitch face.
A little bit,
but it comes across, or like resting, I guess, intense asshole face. Because I feel like
snob face, like he's constantly looking down on you, even though he's probably a really nice guy.
Exactly, like he's gonna punch you in the face at any second.
I remember like Tombstone was one of those early movies I saw when I was a kid.
Going back to Sam Elliott.
One of the ensemble casts. It was the first time I was able to like recognize people. I'm like, oh shit, like that's what's his face from the Terminator, and that's Sam Elliott from all those Sam Elliott movies. Mm-hmm. And then Billy Zane was the theater performer in that one. He got shot. I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert for anybody who's watching.
For the 1992 movie Tombstone, Billy Zane gets shot.
I remember when I was a kid, I did not understand that Han Solo and Indiana Jones were the same guy. I didn't understand that actors, Harrison Ford wasn't a person.
They looked similar.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how could Indiana Jones? I mean, he's obviously in the 50s. Movies I watched recently as well, Blade Runner.
That's
holy shit! That fucking movie rules. Yeah. Like I did not appreciate like 75% of that movie when I watched it when I was younger.
I remember seeing it when I was a kid because my uncle was like, "Oh, this is one of the best science fiction movies ever made. You got to watch this." And saw it. I'm like, "Oh, okay." There was a cool 15 minutes when they're chasing a robot in a gunfight.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm 12 and I'm a dick. And I remember I have like that ultimate Blu-ray set. It's like the original theatrical release, the first director's cut, like the second director's cut, and like the ultimate director's cut because. Was it Ridley Scott, I think, is...
You just can't stop cutting it?
Just likes to sit in the cutting room and just jerk himself off all over the films that he makes. But I remember watching it.
The mist that you thought was fog throughout the movie.
Yeah. It's not at all fog. I remember watching that back when JJ and I were living together at the house on 44 there. Mm-hmm. I put it on one day. I'm watching it, and I'm fucking loving it. I'm eating it up because it's a killer movie. And... throughout the day, because it was like I was watching the director's cut, so it was like a good 3-hour endeavor I was on.
Right.
My girlfriend, JJ's lady, Kodish, just randomly walked through and we're like, the fuck are you watching? This is stupid. They sit down for like 5 minutes and be like, this is boring, I'm leaving. I'm sitting there, I'm like, you uncultured heathens. What is wrong with you?
No class. Nope. No taste. These fools.
And this is Philip K. Dick at his best.
God. They don't even understand.
They don't.
You looked down your nose at them that day, sir.
Speaking of Philip K. Dick, have you watched The Man in the High Castle?
No.
It's an Amazon show. I don't know if you do the Amazon thing.
I do not.
I think it's free for Prime. I'm sure if you just go on Amazon, you can get it for like $15 or something.
Maybe we can get Amazon to sponsor this podcast, and then I can watch all these things for free, and then review them and give them glowing reviews. Amazon talking to you.
Unless it sucks. I mean, it's geared up to be pretty good, but
we'll still have to say it's good because they'll be paying our bills.
That's true. It's absolutely true.
So Amazon, take note.
Anyway, it's a cool show. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but it's also based on a Philip K. Dick book, the same author as Blade Runner
and Moby Dick.
Okay. Dorkside, we guarantee accuracy not at all.
All of my fact checkers check that one, and we'll do a thing in the next podcast where we go back and correct all of our errors.
Everything, all our stories.
As you can tell, the theme for this week's podcast is
random movies.
It is movies. That's correct.
Because there's a lot of shit coming up.
Holy shit! This year is like the year of nerd movies.
Mm-hmm.
There's.
I'm going to count Star Wars in there because they happened at the end of last year because it really kicked off the season.
I'm going to say. Excluding, I'm sure, what are going to be a lot of super nerdy movies, there's like, if you count Star Wars, then there's 6 big fucking nerd movies coming out. Mm-hmm. And they're not coming out like that far apart from each other.
By the end of May, all these movies will be out.
So it's really Nerd Spring.
It is Nerd Spring.
It's Nerdspringa.
And it starts this weekend.
It does start this weekend. Let's go.
Are you going chronologically?
I guess we'll go chronologically. And
okay, because my list was totally out of order, so I'm just going to have to figure that out as we go.
I'm just going to say one thing before we even get started on this. This is a spoiler-heavy podcast. So if you want to see these movies and you don't want spoilers, go listen to the Darkside podcast.
Keep in mind that, that's true, but some of our spoilers are totally conjecture.
We're giving you 5 seconds to turn away now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Dumbledore dies at the end.
Okay, so what's first?
First is Deadpool. That comes out this weekend, February 12th.
Yeah.
And I am optimistic.
Oh,
I know you're making noises and you're rolling your eyes.
Well, you know what? We'll both say our piece on the podcast. Okay. We'll both air our grievances. And then when we come back in a month, we'll obviously have seen all of these movies because they'll all have been out.
That's true.
And then we can do a follow-up discussion about it.
So Deadpool.
Yes.
Kind of kicks off the season here.
Valentine's Day weekend.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm optimistic. I think Ryan Reynolds obviously sucked in Green Lantern, which I don't think was necessarily his fault.
See, that's even if it's, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I feel like that's he didn't even necessarily suck that much. That movie sucked.
Yeah, it was just a poor movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think they used him properly.
Correct.
I think he could have been Hal Jordan, but I think
like he's a great actor. Mm-hmm. He's great at his roles. He plays like the perfect like smart ass cocky guy.
Yeah.
And that's the exact role for that.
He was in the same way that people say that Hugh Jackman was basically born to be Wolverine, like, and he really adopted the character. I think Ryan Reynolds could be a solid Deadpool. Like, he's an asshole. I mean, he's just a cocky prick. Mm-hmm. I think he'll be doing a good job. The trailers look cool. I really like their portrayal of Colossus. Finally, like in the past X-Men movies. It's been, I can't remember the guy's name, the young kid wearing a tank top, and you're just kind of like, hey, I'm metal. I'm on screen for 10 seconds.
That's it.
You could totally do really awesome things with me because I'm fucking Colossus. But no, you're going to focus on Cyclops because, he sucks a bag of dicks.
Yeah, I was always disappointed in how they handled Colossus in all, basically every X-Men movie.
I remember seeing X-Men 2. When the special ops guys are taking over the mansion, and you see him like kicking a door, and he's carrying the mutant, and the little darts are like bouncing off.
Yeah, he armors up,
and you're like, "Oh shit, he's gonna kick some ass!" And then he goes to the escape tunnel, and let's do more Wolverine because we're paying him for this.
Yeah, no, none of us want to see Colossus fucking clean house. Nobody wants to see that. Let's just keep that out of the movie.
I remember one of the times I saw that. I think I saw that like a couple times in theaters because to this day, I think X-Men 2 is probably one of the best made X-Men movies.
I'll agree.
That opening with when Nightcrawler's taking out the Secret Service, fucking killer.
That scene, even going back to that special ops scene when the guys are raiding the house and he's in Logan's in the kitchen and he's yelling and he like stabs the guy at the fridge.
I had
Holy
a friend.
Shit.
We went through that. We saw the movie at one point together, and she and I debated. Or we actually, it wasn't a debate. We sat there counting how many people he killed in that scene. It was like 12 people. And like they do it so you don't. Maybe he didn't die, but no. He just got 6 claws through both lungs. Like he is not okay. So I think I like the way they're finally showing some more Colossus. They really have him like totally ripped and looking like kind of classic comic book era Colossus.
Yeah.
I mean, all the promos he's been doing for this movie, he's doing like testicular cancer awareness. He did that little Halloween video with the kids.
Brilliant.
He's all over everything. So even if the movie tanks, I think they'll probably make money just from all the promos he's been doing. Like, people will go see it,
Well, it's the first, or it's being billed as the first hard R comic book movie.
Right.
First hard R superhero movie, which is definitely a new direction for comic book movies. Although, to be fair, I feel like even a lot of the Marvel movies, like as they've gone on, they've been getting more mature, more violent,
they have,
a little bit darker and more serious with each one. Looking back at the first Iron Man, which is now by what the standards by what we hold current Marvel movies to, is almost like campy. It's almost like silly. And like the new Captain America and dealing with like spies and betrayal.
If you look at like the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy and then look at Tim Burton, it was dark at the time, but it was still kind of goofy. Like the Joker had purple cars.
Exactly.
Which was awesome, by the way.
We can bring that back. He has a purple car in Suicide Squad.
He does.
Let's go back to Deadpool really quick.
Yeah.
So Deadpool, I see you're positive, but the way that I look at it is Deadpool had a chance. They fucking made a movie where he was one of the prominent characters, and they fucked it up so bad. Like, so bad. Egregiously bad.
That was terrible.
And to me, that's like, you get one strike in this biz. And it's not just that they, like, made a shitty movie. They made the shittiest movie. And they totally butchered his character, and they butchered his story, and they butchered everything. But then they just said, you know what? We're going to bring back the same actor, and we're just going to try it again, like reboot the whole thing from the ground up, which I will say is maybe something that is notable and is maybe even daring by comic book movie standards. Because mostly when they do a reboot, they just recast the whole thing. But this one, they're like, no, we fucked up, but Ryan, we're going to do right by you.
In the Wolverine movie, he had, I mean, obviously he was in the CGI, fucked up part of the end. But like he had that like 5 minutes when he was annoying and he was a dick, but he was awesome. Like he was cutting bullets up with his swords, like. And that minute, that like little clip, I'm like, that's cool.
Did he kill Will.i.am?
No, that was Liev Schreiber.
Liev Schreiber killed. Oh, okay. God, what a fucking piece of shit that movie sucks so bad. We should do a whole podcast dedicated to that movie.
I like that Sabretooth, though. I like that version of Sabretooth.
Dude, I know. And that's what I'm saying. That movie fucking sucked because they had so much potential for so much cool shit. And they just, it's like every step they took, they fucked it up. And each step made it worse. And it just, they never got it back on track. And they just were like, fuck it. Put it out. No one gives a shit. Just fucking do it.
I feel like Marvel, or even, I can't even say Marvel.
But it's
the Fox Marvels. This happens a lot.
Yeah.
There's been 3 awful Fantastic Four movies.
Oh, God. Seriously.
And, like, they don't even deserve to be talked about, but they've done this before. Like, they've fucked something up, and they're like, hey, let's try this again.
But see, this is why I'm worried about Deadpool. This is why I'm like, I'm so apprehensive about it, because I'm so worried that they're just gonna fuck it up again. Like, we keep giving Fox chances, and they keep fucking it up. I will give credit where credit is due. X-Men First Class,
X-Men 2,
a very good X-Men movie. We'll see. I take it kind of chronologically. Like, X-Men 1 was really the first superhero movie. The second one was a step up from there, but then it just went straight in the shitter. X3, what a fucking turd. What an awful movie. And then all the Wolverines, awful. But, then they did First Class. They kind of brought it back. Days of Future Past, I watched that again recently.
Yeah, it's not bad.
A totally well done movie. Like, holds its own.
They gave Colossus 7 minutes on screen instead of 5.
He got to punch something in this movie,
like
finally.
Twice,
yeah.
He punched something and then he died. That's how it worked.
I feel like I've been burned so many times by Fox that every Fox movie I am apprehensive, and I'm even at the point where I don't even want to give the smaller ones. Like X-Men, I grew up loving the X-Men, and I guess I'll give it a chance. Shit. But all the other ones, like the last Fantastic Four I didn't even see.
I didn't either.
Couldn't even bring myself to see it.
I mean, maybe if it's free somewhere, I'll watch part of it while I fall asleep.
If it's on Netflix, I'll watch it until I just can't take it anymore. But so I'm apprehensive about Deadpool.
Okay.
I'm hoping for good things. It's Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah.
It's a great date movie, from what I hear.
Could be.
And Morena Baccarin is in it.
Yes.
Who was in Firefly, a show that I love.
If you want to see her naked, you can watch Homeland, because she's got some new scenes in that.
Thanks for the heads up. Okay, that's okay. Okay, fair enough. We're just stating facts. That's what the truth.
That is a fact too. You can fact check that.
If you want to see Ryan Reynolds naked, you can see it in
probably Deadpool.
Probably,
let's face it. He's probably going to be naked.
But so Deadpool. I'm worried about the spots that I've seen give me hope, but it's almost like I feel like I'm setting myself up for disappointment. So I don't even want to give them. Deadpool, fucking prove me wrong.
Okay.
All right.
Prove
valid. Me wrong, Deadpool.
And he's kicking off the season, so we'll see. See what happens.
He's first in line.
He's setting the tone.
Yeah. All right. So what's next?
Next is Batman vs Superman.
Oh, man.
March 25th.
Another one I'm also very nervous about.
I have gone back and forth on this.
Yeah.
Like, I remember they cast Batfleck, and I was like, ugh. But then I'm like, okay, I did the same thing for Heath Ledger, and that obviously proved me wrong. Like, he was a great Joker. I'm still a Nicholson fan, but he was a great Joker. And so I kind of pulled myself back. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give Ben Affleck a chance. Like, he's really grown a lot as an actor since he did Daredevil, which we won't speak of.
He's
got a lot more experience as a filmmaker now too. I think he understands the business a lot more. He's written, he's directed more. So how do you like them apples? But
I can't believe you just said that on the podcast. Now we got to pay licensing to fucking Miramax.
Fuck. And I feel like DC is going to start to suffer from taking themselves too seriously. And they basically come out and said that, like, our comic book movies are serious and dark and, you know, for grown-ups. I'm nervous about it, and I think I'm going to... We'll get to Suicide Squad later. I'll save that. But and I'm really excited to see the Batsuit, like the old school, like the little short ears, kind of Dark Knight Returns kind of style
Frank Miller.
suit.
Yep. Here's my question. Is Suicide Squad set in the same continuity as these movies?
I don't know yet.
Has that been confirmed?
So. I know Ben Affleck is Batman in Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Like, he has an appearance there. I don't know if it is going to be like a prequel for Batman v Superman, or like Batman v Superman kicks it off and like Batman's back. The whole premise is that he's supposedly retired, and then he comes back to try and fight
spoilers.
suits.
We should call this podcast spoiler alert.
Well, we don't even know. There's no confirmed spoilers. You got to tell me the shit. I didn't look up the thing or the Zack Snyder thing.
I have a juicy little piece of info that you don't know about yet. I have a spoiler. You didn't look at it since then?
I forgot.
I'm proud of you for forgetting.
Thank you.
You're sort of welcome. So they've given out a bunch of information about the movie already.
Right.
Like they announced that Doomsday is in it.
Wonder Woman's there.
Right. They announced even the origin of where Doomsday comes from.
Zod and... Yep.
Spoiler alerts for anyone who's listening.
Too late, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could just watch the fucking trailer.
Trailers.
I
That's
guess.
public knowledge now. Yeah.
So they've talked about the villains. They've talked about the heroes, the origin of Justice League. I mean, and I remember a couple months ago they did posters with Jason Momoa,
I believe.
Mimosa. He's delicious.
Yeah, he looks delicious.
Ooh. As Aquaman, but really since that poster,
You haven't seen him. Yeah.
Haven't talked about it.
That was a big deal too, because he had the trident and everything. Like, he looked like a badass Aquaman, and at the same time, everyone's like, "Okay, it's Aquaman."
And didn't the poster say "assemble the seven"? That was the words that were over his picture.
Yeah, something about the seven.
Yeah, assemble the seven. So that means there's going to be 7 Justice League members who I guess are going to assemble at the end of this movie.
I thought the Avengers assembled.
Shh. It's patent pending. It's trademarked. Okay, trademarked. You can't say that.
Has Cap ever said that? No,
I think he said it.
Did he say it?
Or they teased it at the end of the last Captain America movie. But so, we had a guy come in maybe a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
About a week ago.
And we were discussing the movie, and we talked about that they gave a spoiler for a big villain who's going to be in the new Batman Superman movie. And you didn't know what it was.
I didn't know what it was, yeah.
And I had this wonderful gentleman. Who was it?
I don't know. I don't remember who it was now. Oh, Andy Carlo.
Andy Carlo.
Yeah.
Andy Carlo was kind enough
not tell me.
to not tell you. And so basically what it is they leaked in one of the trailers this one screen grab that is Batman looking out on what appears to be some kind of desert or, ruins or something that's just like, flat ground. And it's the Omega symbol, which is the calling sign for, I don't know if it's Darkseid or Darkside.
Yeah. I think it's Darkside, and they just spell it funky.
I'm going to say Darkside because that's our store. So we're going to call them Darkside until...
Can we sue them?
Yeah, totally. I like this. We're going to rename our store. We're going to flip some letters around, sue the shit out of DC. But so that was the big reveal, was that he is somehow involved, or, maybe I have a feeling they're going to treat him like...
They're Thanos.
I was going to say, I feel like they're going to treat him like Thanos in the Marvel continuity, which is they're going to tease him each movie until like a big culminating movie,
right?
Where somehow they're going to clash.
How do you not see that coming, though? I don't know. Like,
well, it's one of those things. Like, even when they first teased the Gauntlet and they first teased Thanos. Yeah. I mean, we all sort of were like, okay, that's obviously a guy that they're going to bring in at some point because he's like their biggest bad guy,
and they don't have the rights to Galactus, so
because he's a fucking cloud.
Yes.
And I want to point out, Galactus is my favorite Marvel Comics character.
Really?
And they fucked it up so bad. Maybe that's why I'm so bitter.
Maybe.
Holy shit! That's it.
Galactus.
Pow, right in the kisser.
It's rough.
And Zack Snyder's directing it.
He is.
Who did the last Superman movie, which also I watched on my flight to LA. I did not like it at all. Again, I hated that movie.
I didn't hate it. It wasn't Superman Returns.
I don't know. To me, man, comparatively, they're just two sides of a shitty turd.
I think stylistically it was okay. I think the problem that all these movies have is they're taking at least an hour chunk of these movies that are maybe clock at, a big budget, properly done one's going to be 3 hours, They're taking an hour and they're telling you the same story that everyone already fucking knows. I mean, you've got to live in a goddamn closet to not know that Bruce Wayne's parents were murdered in an alley and Superman's planet blew up.
Spoiler alert. Bruce Wayne's parents were murdered in an alley, just in case you didn't know.
Sometimes by the Joker, sometimes by another guy. Depends on what you're doing. They're dead.
Yeah.
And he's traumatized, and he's a bat. And I mean, I love Batman. I've loved Batman since I was a kid. He's easily one of my favorite heroes. Everyone fucking knows it. So I think they by redoing that again and again and again, they're kind of like shooting themselves in the leg. Like, you wasted half your movie just because you wanted Kevin Costner to be a fatherly figure.
Which is supposedly which supposedly is a movie trope that they are attacking head on in the Captain America movie with Spider-Man.
Right.
They're skipping right over the intro and they're just going in and he's introduced. I guess he has like a slightly different origin. They're not making another origin movie.
Just popping in and he's there.
Already in and they're letting him run.
Cool.
Which
good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
All right, what's next?
Next is Cap Civil War.
Captain America Civil War.
Yep.
Okay, did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did.
Did you watch all the commercials?
No.
Ooh.
I left at like, what are they broken at? Halves, quarters, thirds? I left at a section.
Are you talking about throwy ball? Because I don't really know.
I left after the Bruno Mars show.
I assume that's at 16ths. That's when they.
I think so.
That's when
they score a goal. Mm-hmm. So I did not see all the commercials.
Did you watch any of the trailers post Super Bowl?
I have not had time today.
Ooh, because that's one thing I did. I did not see any of the Super Bowl.
Right.
In fact, when my social media feeds were blowing up, like, holy shit, Broncos won the Super Bowl, I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, I guess the Broncos were in the Super Bowl this year. That's news to me.
Yep.
And they won.
They did. They won.
Good for them.
Yep.
I assume Peyton Manning is in that?
Yes, that is the right one. Yes. Yep. You win.
You
win sports.
Shooty hoops for the win. That's my favorite season.
It's just winter.
Okay. I don't know anything about sports.
So Civil War.
Civil War, Captain America, they showed for the first time the actual... So, the movie is based on a famous Marvel Comics giant crossover
one of my favorites.
Story arc. One of my favorites of all time.
Yep.
In fact, I would say the thing that got me back into comics.
I would agree with that.
And
in college, and yeah.
And so they've sort of, they've been like teasing who the sides are going to be and that they've slightly modified the story a little bit. But they showed the actual lineups of the heroes that are facing off against each other for the first time, like in actual lineups against each other. And I believe it's being directed by the Russo brothers, who directed the last Captain America, who...
Winter Soldier, which was awesome.
Really awesome.
Yep.
Like a surprisingly well-done movie.
Yeah.
By, movie
refreshing
standards.
because some of those movies, they were starting, like Avengers 2.
Exactly.
Age of Ultron was getting stale.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So I was pleased with Winter Soldier.
So I'm excited for Civil War.
I think it'll be cool. I mean, it's obviously, it's been promoted like hell. I mean, the trailers look awesome. Black Panther's finally there. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to, we get to see a little more of Scarlet Witch, doing her thing. I think my issue with it, I feel like they jumped the gun. This should be like a 20 years down the road storyline when they have like the big, because Civil War in the comics was a huge fucking lineup. There was like, that was the whole point of it. There was a line drawn down the middle of the Marvel Universe.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was this rumor that I heard that part of the reason they're doing Civil War now is that Chris Evans, this is totally conjecture, so please, if anyone knows the actual answer to this, tweet at us. We have a Twitter account, Dorkside P. I should probably rename that.
We should find something new.
Okay, we have a Twitter account. Go on Twitter, tag us, use the hashtag Dorkside Podcast, and tell me if I'm right or wrong on this. But I heard this rumor that Chris Evans, this is his last picture in his deal.
Yeah.
And someone else will be taking over the mantle of Captain America.
And I guess it remains to be seen if they follow the canon of how that works, which would mean it is Bucky who picks up the shield, quite literally.
Or they could go with the current incarnation of Captain America, which is Sam
Falcon.
Wilson, the Falcon. And another interesting thing, which I guess you didn't see the commercial for it, but an interesting thing that they showed in the lineups is that Black Panther.
I heard this. He's on Iron Man's side, right?
He's on Tony Stark's side.
Interesting.
Which was interesting. And so was the Vision. But you know who I didn't see in it? Thor.
Interesting, because in the comics, that becomes a thing.
Mm-hmm. A very important
Thor
part of the story.
Disappears, and some scientific mistakes are made. And at the end of the day, I think everyone regrets what they did.
Mm-hmm. You know what's important? We learned our lesson.
Yep.
That's why they're having Civil War 2 right now in the comics. So clearly, no lessons learned at all.
Right.
Just some other shit.
But I think it definitely has potential. I'm excited for Civil War.
Yeah, agreed. And also, I will say that I'm biased going into this because I am a Marvel guy, not a DC guy.
I would be Marvel too, except for Batman. Like, I'm a Batman loyalist.
Okay. I appreciate you staying steadfast to your loyalty there.
But, I mean, fuck Superman. He's a goddamn Boy Scout.
Right?
He's boring.
Not in the movie universe, man. He killed a guy.
He did. That was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Wasn't that cool?
It was good. The snap. It was a loud snap.
It was lame. Just tell me what's coming up next. I'll stop shit talking Superman.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
I'm worried about that too, man.
I am worried about that.
But Bryan Singer's directing it, who I fucking completely wrote off after X3, which I realized he didn't direct. But after X3, I just wrote Bryan Singer off. I was so hurt by
back
X3.
for Future Past.
But exactly. The last two that he did, First Class and Days of Future Past, totally have...
Did he do First Class?
I believe... Oh, no. Matthew Vaughn did First Class. Oh, I'm so sorry. Matthew Vaughn did First Class. Yeah. Bryan Singer came back for Days of Future Past. And you know what? He righted his wrongs, I think. He came back. He's like, I'm going to make a good movie. Get back in the good graces. I'll give him a shot. You know what I think is my main thing that I dislike about this? And I mean no disrespect whatsoever. Is I feel like our positions on this is I'm the hater and you're the positive, I'm the negative, and I'm just shitting on everybody.
Not a usual position.
I know. Olivia Munn as Psylocke. I just so far have not seen her portrayal of the Psylocke character in a way that has made me feel good about it. And
they haven't shown much of her.
Oh, you didn't watch the Super Bowl trailer?
I did. They finally show her like slicing through something in her little suit. Mm-hmm. Which I'm grateful they kept the little skimpy suit because
I'm the opposite.
No, come on, you can't have Psylocke and a combat functional suit. That takes half the appeal of Psylocke away. Like, oh, it's a female telepath. Meh.
She's got a lot of stripes.
Bikini thongs.
Yeah, a lot of stripes
swords
everywhere.
Okay, I'll watch this. I'll sit through it. I haven't seen much of Olivia Munn's like past work. I saw her in Newsroom on HBO, and she was good in that. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing videos that she posted to like Instagram of her training for Psylocke. They're doing like the sword work and then martial arts stuff.
And I remember her being on G4, and she even was a correspondent on The Daily Show. Mm-hmm. Great, funny actress, but this is something else, man. And I thus far, I have not seen anything that has made me feel confident in that role.
We'll see where it goes.
And with all the other X-Men movies, Lord knows that's kind of the approach they've taken with so many, so I'm very hesitant.
Agreed.
And isn't the actor who played the guy who plays Poe Dameron? He's
Jason
Apocalypse,
Isaacs.
right?
Jason Isaacs. He is Apocalypse.
That's in the plus column.
I like him. Yep. I thought it was awesome in Star Wars. So far, visually he looks cool in Apocalypse. I remember from the first time I saw like the full trailer they released, and I heard his voice, I was a little let down because I was just mentally so attached to the voice from the animated cartoon.
The 90s one? Yeah.
And it's like this deep, like, techno-y, like, godlike voice.
And he's supposed to be like 10 feet tall and huge.
He can grow, and they do show him with his, like, expansion powers when he's, like, got Xavier on the ground in the one scene, which is cool. I was happy to see that.
You watch. It's going to be a dream sequence. It's going to be some stupid shit. Ugh.
But, like, I'm almost expecting, like, he shows up on screen, and he's got robes, and he's got his horsemen, and he's like, hey, I'm Apocalypse!
Hey, guys!
I'm like, oh, God.
They haven't shown Wolverine at all in it.
They haven't, and I don't know. I heard that Hugh Jackman was on for one more.
Yeah.
Before he retired the Wolverine mantle.
But does that mean he's not in this one? He's just making one more Wolverine and then calling it quits?
Maybe.
I haven't seen anything about him.
I'll be to complete the trilogy of trash.
Oh, God, seriously.
Because I heard there was supposed to be an Old Man Logan movie in the works.
Well, that was the rumor, right?
But from the legal standpoint, how do they do that? Because you can't have, spoiler alert, there's the Hulk, Hawkeye, Cap, Red Skull, all make appearances in Old Man Logan. And those are all properties that Fox can't touch.
Yep.
To be fair, they kind of get their revenge on Marvel by making them not call Scarlet Witch a mutant and then just kind of pussyfoot around how she got her powers.
I like the thing that you're worried about is that you're worried that Fox won't be able to change the origin story of a major character just to suit whatever the fuck they want.
They can't use the word, yeah.
So that's what they're going to do. They're just going to be like, no, he's not the Hulk, he's the Bulk.
It's the Blob.
Yeah, whatever.
Bring back what's his face from
Who
the second.
cares? It's going to be Deadpool, and he's got optic blasts and some other shit. It doesn't have to make sense, right? People will go see this.
Call me Blob?
So bad. What's next?
Okay, after that, it looks like we have... This is not comic related, but I threw it in here because I'm a huge fan of the franchise.
I'm just throwing shit in.
Jason Bourne. Finally going back to Matt Damon as Jason Bourne. Have you seen the other Bourne movies?
I have. I'm not a Bourney. I'm not a Born again. I don't know what they call fans of the franchise.
I don't even think they have names. Just, fans of quality films.
No, that's not what they call them. That's the opposite of what they call them. No. I don't like the Bourne. I just don't give a shit.
I appreciate them. I appreciate like the realism of them, like the physics of the way what he does. Like it's cool.
My favorite thing about this podcast is that listeners can't see the faces. I'm making just a face of like wincing, just complete and total disgust.
You know what?
And disbelief.
It looks cool. The Jeremy Renner one they did, like the Bourne Legacy, that was a terrible.
So I shouldn't see it.
Nah, I wouldn't recommend. You don't even need to see it. Maybe it'll be referenced as
And didn't one of the Bournes, maybe it was the second one, it had Franca Potenta in it?
The first and second, yes.
Both of them did.
Yep.
Oh,
she was the love interest.
I love her, but I saw one that had her in it, and I felt like they had no chemistry between the two of them on camera. That was actually my takeaway from the movie. I just didn't buy it between them.
The love story, Jason Bourne.
You know what? Amazing Spider-Man 2. If you take away all the superhero shit and you just deal with like the love story, that movie is a goddamn adorable. And those two fucking make a great romantic pair. Peter Parker and Emma Stone, I think they dated during. But the two of them, they're fucking so adorable, and their love story in that movie makes that movie.
Nothing else did.
Oh, God, that movie stunk, too. I watched that recently as well. It made no sense.
No.
Makes no sense.
I remember sometimes I'll be, like, arguing with Nicole after I see a superhero movie, because she kind of, like, she goes with me, because, she humors me.
She's very nice like that.
She is. And I think it was the first Amazing Spider-Man, and she's like, I don't understand his webs, like the physics of his webs. She's like, he can hit people with them and like the web balls, and it hurts, and it can like knock people out. But then he can bungee with them, and she was just not on board with the. She couldn't suspend the belief of the web physics. And I'm like, but he does it all over the place. He can spring. He can.
That was actually the thing talking about changing origin stories. That I actually really enjoyed about the original Spider-Man trilogy. I liked that they did the whole thing where it was like in him.
He had
the web shooters.
Thing, yeah. The web zit.
Yeah, and I actually like somehow to me it worked.
And even in the comics, they go back and forth between the synthetic web shooters and natural webbing.
But Jason
Bourne, I'm giving him a nod because it looked cool. The trailer was well done. I feel like it was kind of one of those things that was just thrown together for the Super Bowl because they are still in production. Like no one knows what the story is. It just Tommy Lee Jones is in it, so
good.
He'll be grumpy and it'll be cool.
Oh, good for him. He's a good actor.
And Matt Damon going back to being a badass.
I will say, Matt Damon. I really liked Elysium, the Neil Blomkamp movie.
Yep.
I loved Elysium, and it sort of like brought me back on the Matt Damon making an action movie train. So I would give him a shot. I just don't care. I'm like not excited about it.
Okay. Well,
I'll give it a shot for you. I'll give it a shot.
Oh, thank you.
We can go on a secret surprise date again.
We can. Yeah, we can do that, and then I'll listen to you complain about it. Okay. Fucking next podcast.
We should warn people that if they see us in movies, like nerdy movies, there's a lot of groaning that happens. It's like, oh God, ugh. Fortunately, no one's ever like kicked a chair or thrown anything at me that I've known. But
when I was a kid, I was a little shit. I mortared Skittles at people. You flick them with your thumb.
How do you have any accuracy?
You develop it.
Practice.
You can just flick it with your thumb so it kind of lobs up and down, and so they turn around and there's no line of sight. Like you don't like peg it at people. One time my brother and I did get caught doing that, and shamed by another father, basically. Which is like the worst kind of shaming when you're a kid. Like someone else's father, like you were such a shit, like someone else yelled at you. But generally speaking, I could get away with mortar rounding some Skittles and shit like that.
Let's go see a movie and we'll see if we can bring that back. I want to see these skills. I want to test them out.
Okay, that's probably going to go horribly, but we'll see.
All right, good to know.
So the last one on our list of the summer, Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, which I am kind of excited to see.
Yeah, it looks fun.
It's the one out of all the movies that are coming out. Suicide Squad, the trailer that they just put out, the last trailer that they put out, has me the most excited about a superhero movie this year.
Jared Leto looks cool as the Joker. Like, I like the new incarnation of him.
That's the one thing, actually, I'm not super stoked about. But here's the thing. I'll give it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, the one thing I'm not super stoked about is I am so over Harley Quinn.
Like, based on the amount of popularity that she has right now? As a character, like, in terms of popular culture?
The credibility people are giving her is, like, she's a lackey. Like, she is a henchman.
She has come into her own. You watch your mouth.
I'm just saying, like, she's come a long way from the, Mr. J.
That's what I'm saying. She has come a long way.
But, I mean,
she's a player now.
She is a lackey. Like, she was someone who was manipulated by the Joker, and okay.
Well, there's some scene that they've shown only very small snippets of that seem to be the origin of Harley Quinn and the Joker getting together in this. I don't know where it falls in the storyline of the movie.
The one thing I'm optimistic about through this and Batman v Superman is the implications of the Joker. Because in most of the trailers for Batman v Superman, you see the Robin suit in the trophy room. Whereas it says, like, ha ha ha, like scrawled on it, or the joke's on you, or something like that. And there are allusions that Batman makes even to... in that little snippet where you see him talking to Lex and Clark Kent, and he's like, Gotham, we don't like clowns in suits. Like, we've got a dark history with clowns in suits. So there's clearly, it really sets up that history, which is, in the Batman universe, like one of the greatest, head-to-head things ever. Like, Batman versus the Joker. And that is one thing I really respect about Christopher Nolan. I didn't like The Dark Knight Rises, but I was really glad he didn't recast the Joker.
Yes,
I think that was the right choice.
Yeah.
Even though I remember hearing like rumors like, oh, he had these great plans, like he was Joker's going to go to Arkham and then he was going to break out and more. And I'm like, okay. Instead, we got Bane. Christopher Nolan has my permission to die.
Okay. So there's a lot of movies that are coming out.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're excited to see. We have a Twitter account.
We do.
I'm probably going to change the name tomorrow because it's bad. But you can use hashtag Dorkside Podcast, and we will do a recap. But tag us. Tell us your reviews. Tell us what movies you're excited about. Tell us what you want to see.
Tell us what we missed. There's always like shit we miss.
Yeah, exactly. And please fucking correct our our stupid hearsay that we're spreading into the world right now. We're like the Fox News of nerdery right now.
We might be the
We're just spreading bullshit around.
True.
But we're giving them our money, so they're just going to roll with it. They're like, idiots are giving us reviews.
We're not getting paid for lying.
Exactly. Amazon.
I'm just saying.
There's a lot of sponsorship opportunities. We will shill for money. We're not above that.
It's true. Zack Snyder. And memorabilia, if you want to,
Yeah.
tchotchkes and swag, like, that's fine.
So, this has been Dorkside Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll be back in about a month or so.
Whatever,
And
next time there's a snowstorm that's not a storm.
Exactly.
We have some time.
Please come in and visit the new Darkside Records location, 611 Duchess Turnpike. Come in, harass us about nerdy things. Tell us what you think, what you're looking at. Look at our nerdy section. We set up a wall over there, and it's all nerdy shit.
And do not shit your pants in the men's room.
I say that's a good rule of thumb. That's like a good general rule, a gentleman's rule.
Yes.
Don't shit your pants in a men's room.
If you do, take your pants with you when you leave.
Take the evidence with you. That is a good rule of thumb for life right there.
That is, yeah.
Don't leave evidence behind, because you're going to get caught.
What would the Joker do?
He'd probably shit his pants.
Down
yeah.
Shitty
and fire and shitting.
Poor choice of...
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Some men just want to shit their pants and watch the world burn.
Probably, he would too.
They cut that part out of Dark Knight.
I think
Returns.
They did. Yeah,
it was a good choice.
Director's cut there.
Yeah, good. It's a good call. All right, so that's it. Dorkside out.
Yep.
What are you looking at, nerd? Huh?
I thought I was looking at my mother's old douchebag, but that's in Ohio.